for science. In this video, we'll be talking about the classification of bacteria on the basis of the oxygen requirement or the gaseous requirement. So, in our previous video, we have discussed about that how the bacteria are generally classified into different categories or different types on the basis of different and environmental conditions which they require for their optimum growth. In this video, we're going to discuss about the classification or the type of the bacteria on the basis of the oxygen requirement. So generally, bacteria are generally classified into two different categories, that is aerobes and anaerobes. So let's talk about these types. So first of all, aerobes or the aerobic bacteria. So what is the meaning of aerobic bacteria or the aerobic organism? So generally, the organisms which requires the air or the oxygen for their growth are generally considered as an aerobic organism. So what is the main characteristic of this aerobic organism? That is the aerobic respiration. These bacteria or the organisms perform the aerobic respiration. Then what is the meaning of aerobic respiration? So generally, the process of aerobic respiration involves the glycolysis, further Krebs cycle, and further oxidative phosphorylation. So generally, glycolysis, Krebs cycle, and oxidative phosphorylation are the main steps of the aerobic respiration, or generally these processes comes under the aerobic respiration. We call this process collectively as a aerobic respiration. So the aerobic organisms are able to perform this aerobic respiration just because they are considered as aerobic organisms. So what is the meaning of performing the aerobic respiration? That means in aerobic organisms, generally the terminal electron acceptor is nothing but the oxygen molecule. So we all know that what happens, that glucose generally get break down into pyruvate in the process of glycolysis. Then later on, then that pyruvate gets to Krebs cycle, and further formation of the NADH and FADH2 molecules. This energy molecules takes place, which are generally sent to the electron transport chain, that is the ETC cycle, where from these energy molecules we generally cell generally form the ATP molecules for the energy purpose. So generally we know that in electron transport chain or oxidative phosphorylation, electron is transferred and in that process generally the oxygen is considered as the terminal electron acceptor. So aerobic organisms generally perform the aerobic respirational process. That's why they are considered as an aerobic organism. That means they are able to utilize or use oxygen for their metabolism purpose. So this is the main characteristic of aerobic organism, that they use the oxygen for their metabolism purpose. Then what is the meaning of obligate aerobes? General under the category of aerobic organism, there is a one example, that is obligate aerobes. What is the meaning of the obligate aerobic organism? That is, obligate aerobic organisms are nothing but the organisms which have the absolute requirement of oxygen. That means if they don't get oxygen, so they won't be able to grow, even they would die. So they have the absolute requirement of oxygen. Example of this kind of organisms is the Pseudomonas aeruginosa, Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Then there are so many organisms which are aerobic in nature. That means they require oxygen for their growth and their multiplication and all. Later on, then another type for the bacteria under the category of oxygen requirement is nothing but the anaerobes or the anaerobic organism. So what is the meaning of anaerobic bacteria or anaerobic organism? So that is the meaning that the bacteria which oxygen is toxic to this type of bacteria. That is the important criteria. So that means this kind of organisms could not grow under the presence of oxygen. They need the absence of oxygen, or they can grow under the well concentration of carbon dioxide. It is very different category. Later on, then what is the important characteristic of anaerobic organism? That is, they perform the anaerobic respiration. So generally under anaerobic respiration, we the generally fermentation process comes and all. In short, they don't use oxygen as their terminal electron acceptor. In their process, when the oxygens are when the electrons are transferred in different processes, so generally oxygen is not used as an electron acceptor. Instead of that, they used inorganic oxygen containing molecules such as the nitrite or the nitrate, sulfate kind of things, or even they use the organic molecules as well. for the electron acceptor purpose, generally in the process of fermentation, because many people define fermentation oftenly as the process in which a metabolism process in which generally the terminal electron acceptor is a organic molecule and not a oxygen molecule. So generally anaerobic organisms perform fermentation pathway, that's why they show the fermentative type of end products such as alcohol and organic acids and kind of things. So anaerobic organisms generally don't perform aerobic respiration like the aerobic organisms, that's why they are considered as anaerobic organisms. Then anaerobic organisms are generally classified into two different categories, that is the obligate anaerobes and facultative anaerobes. Then as I told you that obligate means that is the compulsion or the absolute requirement of something. So obligate means the compulsion or the absolute requirement. That means obligate anaerobes are the organisms which generally literally get killed by the free oxygen molecule. So generally generally obligate anaerobes get killed in the presence of oxygen. So generally they don't get killed by the free oxygen gas, but there is a different mechanism that they get killed. They get killed by the superoxide molecules or the they get killed by the highly reactive oxygen molecule, that we'll see after some time. Then after that, then there is another type, that is the facultative anaerobes. Then how facultative anaerobes is different from the obligate anaerobes, that is the facultative anaerobes are generally the versatile organisms. What is the meaning of that? That is facultative anaerobic organisms are generally capable of growing under the either aerobic condition also and anaerobic condition also. So what does it mean? That if the facultative bacteria are present in an environment where oxygen is present, so they would utilize that oxygen for their metabolism purpose, and they would perform the aerobic respiration pathway and act as a aerobic organism. But as they are present in the environment where oxygen is not present, or if they are present in an environment where oxygen is get depleted after the process, so they would switch to anaerobic pathway and they would act as a anaerobic organism. So generally this type of anaerobes are considered as a facultative anaerobes. So facultative meaning that they can grow in both the conditions, okay, either or case. So examples of this type of bacteria is the Enterobacteriaceae family members, for example like E. coli and all, and Staphylococcus aureus. The examples of obligate anaerobes are the Clostridium perfringens and Clostridium botulinum. So this is the major difference between the obligate anaerobe and the facultative anaerobe. That is, obligate anaerobe get killed by the free oxygen, but the facultative anaerobes generally grow in both the conditions. If they are present in aerobic environment, they would grow as a even they would be able to grow, and if they are present in anaerobic condition also, then also they would be able to grow. Now, what is the reason behind of the death of the organism in presence of oxygen, that is the death of the obligate anaerobes? How generally oxygen affects their life? So what happens generally, the aerobic organisms, generally have a different defense system. So the aerobic organism generally have the different So generally the aerobic organism have a specific defense system. By this defense system, these aerobic organisms are able to neutralize the highly reactive oxygen species. So what does this mean? So highly reactive oxygen species includes the superoxide, and hydrogen peroxide. So what happens generally in aerobic respiration process, while the bacteria or the organisms perform the aerobic respiration, so it will lead to the formation of different reactive oxygen species, which are nothing but the superoxide, and these superoxide are nothing but harmful for the growth of the bacteria. But generally the aerobic organisms have a defense system in their cell, which generally include the enzymes like the superoxide dismutase. So generally the aerobic organisms have enzymes called superoxide dismutase. So just because aerobic organisms have this enzyme superoxide dismutase, so generally this enzyme detoxify the superoxide present in the cell, which are formed by the process of aerobic respiration, and this superoxide get converted into the hydrogen peroxide, and this hydrogen peroxide then further get break down into water and oxygen by the process of enzyme catalase. So generally what happen in obligate anaerobic organism, this superoxide dismutase and catalase type of enzymes are absent, and because of this lacking of this defense mechanism, because of lacking of this kind of enzymes, so what happens if the obligate anaerobe would perform the aerobic respiration in presence of oxygen, so the accumulation of this superoxide and the hydrogen peroxide will lead to the death of the cell, because they are harmful for the cell. Okay, hydrogen peroxide, superoxide, these are highly reactive oxygen species which are toxic for their growth. So if they would perform the aerobic respiration, this reactive oxygen species will lead to their death. But this superoxide dismutase and catalase, these are kind of enzymes, and the defense mechanism system is present in the aerobic organisms. That's why aerobic organisms are able to perform the aerobic respiration, and they can tolerate the oxygen. But just because of their absence in the obligate anaerobes, they won't be able to tolerate the presence of oxygen, whereas this dismutase and catalase is present in the facultative anaerobes. That's why they even if they're present in the aerobic environment, they could tolerate the presence of oxygen by using this kind of enzymes and by detoxifying this reactive oxygen species. And if the oxygen is depleted from the environment, so they will perform the anaerobic respiration and would act as a anaerobic organisms. So that is the reason behind the death of the obligate anaerobes in the presence of oxygen. After that, then there are two more important type of the bacteria on the basis of oxygen requirement, that is the aerotolerant anaerobes and the microaerophilic. So aerotolerant anaerobes are the organisms which can generally survive in presence of oxygen, but they don't use oxygen in their metabolism. So this is important characteristic of aerotolerant anaerobic, because we have seen the facultative anaerobe, where we have seen that they can grow in either or condition. Okay, they can grow in aerobic condition also and anaerobic condition also. Though they are anaerobic, but still they can grow in both the condition. Here also, that is, these are anaerobes. Okay, that means they don't require oxygen for that, but still they can grow in presence of oxygen, or they can survive. So this type of aerotolerant anaerobes can also survive in presence of oxygen, but the important feature is that they don't use oxygen in their metabolism, whereas the facultative anaerobes uses oxygen for their metabolism. So this is the difference between the aerotolerant anaerobes and the facultative anaerobes. Facultative anaerobes uses oxygen for their metabolism purpose, and they detoxify all the reactive species by the defense mechanism that they have in their cell. But aerotolerant anaerobes generally grow in presence of oxygen. They can survive. They don't get killed by the like obligate anaerobes, but they don't use oxygen in their metabolism. So aerotolerant anaerobes lie between the obligate anaerobe and the facultative anaerobes, where they generally don't get killed by oxygen, just like obligate anaerobes, but even they don't use oxygen in their metabolism like the facultative anaerobes. Okay, so they have in middle between both of them. And another type is the microaerophilic bacteria. What is the meaning of microaerophilic bacteria? So microaerophilic bacteria generally grow best under the reduced oxygen concentration and increased CO2 concentration. So generally the microaerophilic bacteria, they generally grow under the around 5 to 10% of oxygen concentration. They require a very less amount of oxygen for their growth, and increased amount of CO2 concentration, that is about around 10 to 80%. So they require, just because they require very small amount of oxygen for their growth, that's why they are considered as a microaerophilic. Okay, that they require small amount of oxygen. So these are the certain important types of the bacteria on the basis of oxygen requirement, that is the aerobic organism, anaerobic organisms, obligate aerobic, then obligate anaerobic, facultative anaerobic, aerotolerant and microaerophilic. So I hope you will understand the basic concepts of the classification of bacteria from this video. So thank you so much for watching this video, and if the video will be helpful for you, so please like, share this video with your friends and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.